Hey everyone, this is Miss Craig from Lincoln Elementary, and today we're going to be talking about task number 8, and it is called comparisons. So when we compare things, I kind of think about back in reading, we're talking about how things are alike, and we also contrast them sometimes, and we talk about how things are different as well. And so today you need this paper with you. This is task number 8, comparisons, and we're going to talk through it a little bit. I'm going to give you some time to work on it, and then we'll come back together and I'll kind of explain more about what my thinking is. So let's read it together first. So here we go. Jeremiah and Erica solved the same word problem. There are 9 white marbles and 11 black marbles. How many fewer white marbles than black marbles are there? So I'm hearing some clue words that I always like to look for when I'm thinking about word problems. And I hear the word fewer. So I'm going to circle the word fewer. So fewer means less, right? How many are there less white marbles than black marbles? And so let's go to number 1. Jeremiah draws the diagram below to solve the word problem about the marbles. So you can see he's drawn the black marbles on the top and the white marbles are on the bottom. So I want you to notice how exactly Jeremiah drew this diagram. And it says here, explain in words how Jeremiah's diagram shows how many fewer white marbles how many fewer white marbles there are than black marbles. So let's think for a minute, and you can tell me, how would you describe Jeremiah's diagram? Yeah, I think so too. So I'm noticing that he drew the marbles in, and he kind of lined them up, right? So there's a black marble and then a white marble. Black marble, white marble, black marble, white marble. And so he did that all the way through until he ran out of white marbles. And then there were 2 more black marbles that didn't have enough white marbles to kind of line them up. So if I explain it in words, I would say Jeremiah lined up the black and white marbles. Until he ran out of white marbles. So Jeremiah lined up the black and white marbles until he ran out of white marbles. And so then you saw how many extra there were left over there. So let's go on to part B. Select all of the equations below that describe how many fewer white marbles there are than black marbles. So we're looking for the equations here that would really describe what this problem might look like. So let's look at choice A. 11 minus 9. So we had 11 black marbles minus 9 white marbles. And so the difference there is 2. And that matches what we see in the diagram. So I would say A is definitely a choice. What do you think about B? 11 plus 9 equals 20. Is that really describing the answer to our question? Yeah, I don't think it is either. I think that would be asking how many marbles there are in total, and that's not what the question asks us. So I don't think B is a choice. I'm going to mark it out. How about 9 plus 11 equals 20? Do you think that might be a choice for our story problem? No, I don't think so either. It kind of looks the same as B, and we already decided that the problem is not asking us to add the total number together. Let's look at D. 9 plus 2 equals 11. So the number 2 is underlined. So do you think that this could be an equation that might represent what's going on here? I think it could be, because if we have 9 white marbles plus this number, would get us equal to the number of black marbles. So this tells us that there are 2 more, and we see that with that number being underlined. So I'm thinking that D also could be a choice. Now part C says, explain why you selected each equation. Refer to the diagram in your explanation. Now we've already kind of talked a little bit about why we chose the answers that we chose. So I'm going to pause for a minute. I'm going to let you fill in. You can pause here, and you can fill in why you chose the ones that you chose. So I chose A and D. So I'm going to fill that in off camera, and then we'll come back and we'll be ready to go to the next page, and I'll show you my answer. All right, so hopefully you had some time to fill in your answers. Here's what I wrote. Just quickly, I'll share with you. I chose A because it found the difference between black and white marbles. And I chose D because the number 2 represents the number of black marbles that there were more of than white marbles. So I hope you had some time to fill that in. We're going to go on to the next page and continue discussing with Erica's strategy. So here's Erica's. So number 2 says, Erica uses counters and her part-part whole map to solve the problem. So here you can see what she's doing. She has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 marbles in this box. And she's having 2 more here on this side. So it says, explain in words how Erica's part-part whole map shows how many fewer white marbles than black marbles are in the bowl. So take just a minute and think about, how does Erica's diagram and her part-part whole map help explain the number of marbles. So take just a minute and think about that. All right, so here's what I'm noticing with Erica's part-part whole map. I noticed she did 9 white marbles here in this side, and then she's drawing an arrow for these 2 more because she's figured that 9 plus 2 would equal 11, and that's how many marbles there are in the black marble section. So, to explain that in words, I'm going to say Erica shows 9 white marbles and that there are 2 more for the black marbles. So Erica shows the 9 white marbles, and then there are 2 more for the black marbles. So we know we have 9 white and we have 11 black. And so we're trying to figure out really the difference, right? We're trying to figure out how many more black marbles do we have than white marbles. And so she's done that here by saying, okay, I have 9, 10, 11. Okay, so there would be 2 more black marbles than there are white marbles. So I like that strategy. I think it's a different way using your part-part whole map. So let's go on to letter B. Which equations describe the comparison between the white marbles and the black marbles and tell how many fewer white marbles there are than black marbles? So let's look at the first one, number A. 11 minus 2 equals 9. Do you think that matches with our equation in our story? So if we have 11 black marbles and we take away 2 of those, then we know we have 9 white marbles. I think that could work. It does explain that the answer is 2. That's underlined there. If you can't see that on mine, you could see it on yours. How about B? 9 plus 11 equals 20. Does that help explain our story? No, that doesn't really answer the question, so I'm going to mark it out. How about C? 9 plus 2 equals 11. Does that match with Erica's part-part whole map in our story? I think it does, because we see up here, we see 9 plus 2 more, and we know that equals 11. So I would think C would also be a good choice. And how about D? 11 plus 9 equals 20. Yeah, I don't think so either. I think that one is answering a different equation for a different kind of problem. So on C, you're going to do the same thing we did on the first page. You're going to explain why we chose the answers that we chose. So I'm going to pause again, give you some time to write, and then we'll check back. All right, so very quickly, just looking at your explanation, here's what I chose to write. I chose A because it found the difference between the white marbles and the black marbles. I chose C because it showed the think addition strategy of how to find out how many marbles were between 9 and 11. So it's kind of like you're adding up to find this missing number that was here. So we started at 9, and we count on to get to 11. So it was 9, 10, 11, and that's where we get that number 2 from. So that was my strategy there. So let's flip over. Sorry, the sun is in the way. There you can see it. So for the rest of this task, you are going to be working on solving each word problem below. Make a diagram or use your part-whole map, and then write an equation to describe the word problem. So I'm going to go through and read these problems, and then you're going to spend some time working on them. There'll be a second video that is more about a discussion and an explanation. So for now, I'm going to read the problem to you, and then you can make a diagram, which is what I usually call a picture. And then you can also use your part-whole map, which is also included with this. And you can figure out an equation also. So here's the first one. There are 12 dogs at the park. There are 7 children at the park. How many more dogs are at the park than children? Here's B. There are 8 birds on the ground. There are 13 birds in the tree. How many more birds are in the tree than on the ground? So remember, we're making comparisons. We want to figure out the difference between the number of birds on the ground and the number of birds in the tree. And then if we flip over, there are a few more problems on here that I want to read to you before you get started. There are 16 grapes in the bowl. There are 5 strawberries in the bowl. How many fewer strawberries than grapes are in the bowl? So again, we're comparing grapes and strawberries. There are 19 red flowers in the vase and 14 white flowers. How many fewer white flowers than red flowers are in the vase? And the last problem that you'll be working on, there are 8 children and 15 adults in the room. Sorry about that. Let me read the last one again for you. There are 8 children and 15 adults in the room. How many more adults are in the room than children? So all these problems are comparison problems that you can use your part-whole map on, or you can just draw a diagram. And either way is fine as long as you show your thinking and as long as you have an equation. So be sure that you solve these and then check out the next video to hear the discussion on how to solve these and what the equations may look like. I hope you enjoy. Have fun.